just arrived in Luka Trstenik. I'm sure I'm butchering that, but it's a little bay in the southern part of Croatia. We've tied up to a mooring buoy, and it's nice and protected in here, and hopefully it stays that way. We've had quite a windy week, and it's got us thinking about mooring and anchoring in Croatia. So we're going to talk about that this week, but first we're going to have a little recap of our week.
We're putting Dubrovnik behind us. We're going to head further north along the Croatian coast and hopefully find a bit of protection, because there's some pretty nasty weather coming in and settling in for the whole week. So we might need to find a marina along the way. But yeah, going to just try to put in a few nautical miles today and make our week a little bit easier. It's a beautiful afternoon, a little bit of cloud cover, not so many other boats around, still so early in the season. So yeah, it should be a nice little motor up, unless we get a little bit more wind once we get out of the channel behind Dubrovnik. Just pulled into our anchorage about 12 nautical miles north of Dubrovnik. It's a little protected inlet called Bay Slano, Luka Slano. And there's a marina here if the weather does what it says it's going to do, which is absolutely storm. But this evening should be lovely. Anchorages like this are a dime a dozen up the coast of Croatia. You can find them all the way along the mainland, all over the islands. You really don't need to pay for marinas every night. If you do choose to use the anchorages and sleep on anchor, Croatia charges a tourist tax. A very worthwhile investment because there's so many beautiful anchorages. We've got this little inlet in the bay all to ourselves. Dead calm and very, very pretty.
With the weather forecast to arrive around midday, we pick up our anchor after breakfast and head for the protection of the marina.
Yeah, the small one. That's about it.
We came into Luka Slano because we've had some pretty ordinary weather all week. It was windy and rainy, and so we've just been here kind of hunkered down. But now that the weather has improved, we're gonna sail right here through this little narrow passage and up to Luka Prapratno. We were going to stay here in this beautiful little bay because the photos look absolutely beautiful. It's remote, but there's no service because it is remote, and we have to work tonight. We also thought about staying here. There's a really nice restaurant where you can moor at Kobus. But they're actually going to be closed tomorrow. And then after we leave Prapratno, we're going to sail all the way to Corčula.
You ready?
Ready. Let's get after it. How's it going?
It's going, but pretty slow. We had wind for a second, but it's died away as the afternoon's gone on, so probably take these down now and just motor in. We're still probably 2 hours out, so it'd be nice to get there before nightfall.
Pretty ordinary night last night. A bit more wind than we expected. Should have taken the bimini down because it was banging around all night, which meant we had little sleep. But things are turning around and we've got a little bit of wind and we will sail north.
Nice and sunny today.
Is it? Yeah. Oh my God, it's so pretty behind me, huh?
A lot of complaining considering how beautiful it looks.
Wow, absolutely stunning. I don't know why those people are there in their swimsuits though, because it is freezing, like 10 degrees.
Stronger winds we would have liked, going well over 30 as we try to make our way toward our anchorage. A shame that things were going to sail. That's what we get for sailing at this time of year, I guess. we just got in, and beautiful little bay, nice and sunny, warm, protected, which is a bit of a contrast from this week, which has been pretty windy, a little bit wet, and pretty cold, about 10 to 15 degrees.
50 to 60. We actually spent Monday to Thursday at a marina this week because it was so windy. And even last night when we were anchored, the wind was a bit stronger than what we expected. So I'm pretty excited to be on a mooring buoy today.
Mooring and anchoring was one of the big questions we had before we ever started this sailing thing. I just had no idea what the protocol was, how you were supposed to find an anchorage or a marina, whether you were expected to pay someone when you did throw an anchor overboard. So we thought we'd go back and answer some of the questions that we had about anchoring and mooring throughout Croatia.
In Croatia, the sailing industry is really, really developed, and the islands are so numerous. So there's ample places for you to stay, whether you want to drop an anchor up and down the coastline, or whether you want to sleep in a marina or on a permanent mooring buoy. The options are quite endless.
Yeah, usually it's just a matter of preference.
We like to stay on anchor as much as we possibly can, weather dependent. So if it's blowing consistently over 20, I don't want to be uncomfortable, so we try to head into the marinas. And we also need to go into marinas to fill up on water when we want to see a town or explore an island to keep the boat secure.
There are plenty of people with a greater tolerance for weather than us. There are people with better gear than us, like water makers on board, that will spend a lot more time at anchor. And then there are people who never leave the marina.
Cost is also a factor. So
Sure.
marinas in Croatia are very expensive, and it can be anywhere between €7 a night to €12 a night per meter to go into marina. So even for our tiny little boat, it can cost anywhere between €60 and €120 a night, and that's increased by about 50% for a catamaran.
Luckily it's free to anchor. You can toss your anchor out at any bay or beach you find in Croatia that's suitable. There's a couple of instances where sailors have been asked to pay to anchor by locals or by the port authority, but those instances are very few and far between. I don't think it's ever happened to us.
No, and you can always move.
And you can always just motor on to the next cove if it does happen.
While it is free to anchor, you do have to pay a tourist tax here in Croatia. It works out to be just like a couple dollars a day, which is significantly cheaper than staying in a marina.
Another option for mooring in Croatia is town keys. So a lot of villages and towns will offer up their town key for the public to come and moor on. So they might have lazy lines, or you can med moor and tie your boat stern to. Generally these facilities are cheaper than a official marina, but they'll also have less facilities. So you probably won't have showers or toilets. You might have access to electricity and water for an extra charge, but basically you'll just get to tie up and be safe.
And you'll be able to explore the town that you've tied up
And be
at.
able to leave your boat.
Exactly.
Yes, exactly right.
And there's also restaurants that have set up private docks or mooring buoys like we're on tonight. And all you have to do is go and eat in their restaurant. And it's usually cheaper than actually staying in a marina, and you still get the security of being tied up somewhere.
And if you pick the right place, a pretty good meal as well.
One of our favorite ways to explore. And that's probably all your options that you've got. I think we've probably covered it all, but if you have any questions about mooring or anchoring, just let us know, drop a comment below, and we'll make sure to get back to you.
And check out our full article on the blog about sailing in the Med for more details about how to anchor.
Fish that is, and it's locally caught by the guy who owns the restaurant, and it looks amazing. Amazing outside.
Good meal though.
Such a good meal.
So it was better than paying for a marina?
Way better than paying for a marina.